version.
Let's move on, but let's track this. I'll bet you.
Oh, you
I'll
want to
bet
do
you
that?
I'll bet you a collector box.
Of what?
Whoever's closer.
This is my 10th cup of coffee.
Let's go.
After
Come on.
7 p.m. Whoa. Welcome to May the Zuby with you, America's most caffeine-induced TCG podcast. I'm, of course, joined by the man, the purple elf knows. He knows what's going on. Our permanent guest, Josh.
What's going on, everyone?
I am also joined by Ariel, under the sea, in disguise, as Louis DeGeorge.
I hate that you hate this. This took a lot of work.
I love it. I
think it's really nice.
I love snorkeling. I know I don't look like it. But I love snorkeling, and it looks like coral up and down your walls. It's beautiful.
I'm charging you $1.25 for that joke, by the way.
And the two of us will be joined by the man which someday I will impress and earn the respect of.
Talk to your therapist about this, not me.
George,
all right,
George from Compete Sports. So yeah, welcome back to May the Zuby with you.
Former LGS.
Yeah, former LGS.
Jesus.
Welcome back to May the Zuby with you, a TCG podcast. We talk a lot about Magic the Gathering. Today we're going to be going through the Magic the Gathering 20. What are you?
And other TCGs, you donkey.
Yes, I was getting to the other TCGs. Good Lord, George got no sleep today. He's had to work all day. He couldn't pay somebody to do his work for once, so he had to actually put the energy in and do something, and he's exhausted from it.
So real quick, I pulled my neck within 15 minutes of starting this project, which was a 5-day project, and I have been like sucking down ibuprofen like my life depends on it.
Yeah, that's great.
I love the notion of you bozos doing physical labor. It makes me smile.
Yeah. Okay, today we're talking about Magic's preview of 2023. We're going to talk about Dominaria to 1K. We're going to talk about Genesis gaining traction. We're going to talk about one set a year for some of these TCGs that we talk about. Cryptic has a really cool comic coming out. And
art card.
And then we're going to talk about MetaZoo having their print run, as well as getting on the big screen by the end of the year, which is really cool. So those are the things we're chatting about today. And let's hop into Magic 2023. What did you guys think about the stream, George?
I think that they said that you should subscribe and like the video.
No, because I did that in the first intro and you guys said I took too long. So if they want to subscribe, if they want to like the video, then they can do it themselves. Apparently they don't need us to do it. Okay. Because YouTube bozos gave me a hard time about it. So we're not doing it. If you want to subscribe, if you want to like the video, thank you. If not, though, I'm done putting myself out there. I'm done. So
I want to apologize for me being so cranky tonight, everybody.
I want to apologize for absolutely no one.
Listen, we already got yelled at by my wife for being too loud, and we just started filming.
We did not get yelled at by your wife, just so we're on the same page here.
You got yelled at.
One of us did.
Magic 2023. What did you guys think about the stream, George?
Freak. Yes.
You didn't even watch it.
Yes.
We know you didn't watch it.
I don't need to watch it. You asked me what I think about the stream. The roadmap is amazing.
George was working and we were live. We were in our group chat and literally you could just see him reading it.
I was like,
you were jealous. And Josh was working at his boss's meeting. Yeah. Don't let
It was an all company meeting. It wasn't just my boss's meeting.
This is why I had to do the work this week, because the employees were slacking off.
That stream was absolutely amazing. It was, the way they put it together was really, really cool. It was super exciting, really cool to see from them themselves, the content and the excitement and the vision behind each of the sets. Every TCG in the world needs to look at that. Obviously, they don't have the money to do what Magic did. They don't. That stuff costs a lot of money, George. But the vision behind it and the explaining behind it and having the roadmap, I think, is a really, really good thing for these other TCGs that are coming up.
Saying what your plan is for a year. I mean, George, I'll throw it to you. You're the business guy, but saying what your plan is for a year, not a super difficult thing to do. Doesn't really require a ton of production value. Hey, this is our plan for the next year. Here you go, people. I don't know. Go ahead. Sorry.
No,
listen, I think looks like a great year for Magic. Lots of exciting sets. Listen, I think what you guys are saying is right. The fact that they have a coherent roadmap for the next 12 months, it allows stores to prepare. It allows customers to prepare. It tells stores what to order extra of. We're going back to a few places. Maybe I need to make sure I get enough booster boxes.
Yeah.
Of the old sets so that I can do drafts with the old set and the new set when it comes out.
That's cool.
Like it
like
helps
Throne of
forward-
Eldraine and Wilds of Eldraine, and just like have like a mesh of the two.
All right. I want to go on. All right, we're gonna start the hot takes early.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Wait, I was gonna say, what's your hot take and what's your cold take from the
Throne of Eldraine was the best art in Magic's history, and I am super hyped to go back. Don't at me.
Mm.
Throne
God, I
of
hope the
Eldraine.
comment section just adds you.
I don't care.
So you
I
think
don't
Wilds?
need it anyway.
Your take on 2023 is Wilds of Eldraine is your set?
No, it's not, and here's why.
Ooh, you almost caught him.
Throne was so insanely busted. They're gonna overfix it, and it's gonna be the weakest set.
Interesting.
Okay.
Throne was so insanely busted that like they have to they're gonna overcorrect.
It won't be the weakest set because it will bring back the adventure mechanic, and adventure is just like 1.5 for 1 as far as value is concerned. So there's no way it's the weakest set. But I see what you're saying. They have to scale it back like a little bit, right?
Can we agree that we want another Oko?
Like Oko 2.0.
Wait, we want another Oko?
Absolutely.
No.
You hate Oko. You bought a bunch of Okos in the middle of the Oko thing, and then they banned them next day.
You're speaking. You know what? I'm the voice for all players. I'm just going to say, no, we don't want another Oko. Every player ever
hates
agrees
us now.
Every player ever agrees with me that Commander is not that great, and we don't want another Oko.
Oh God, I can't.
my
Like we're gonna get so into the Commander thing.
Woo!
All right, my hot take for the roadmap is that March of the Machine and March of the Machine: The Aftermath are gonna bomb so hard. They are gonna bomb so hard. It's gonna be. This is gonna be worse than Crimson Vow and the other one. I don't even know the other one. I don't remember.
You want to put money on this? Let's bet a box. Let's bet a booster box.
All right, let's do a box.
Let's bet a box of Commander of double Masters collectors.
On what's the bet? Like based on what? What's the metric?
Price.
No, that's a stupid.
Well, because
They're both going to be
it.
worthless. They're both going to be. This is not like a game where the boxes are moving up and down. Like
I think you'll be able to tell by the community what sets feel good and what sets
what is
don't.
up with the shades? Wait, are you in the sunlight?
I think. All right,
That take was so hot it almost burned me.
Let's have Josh be the deciding factor.
What if it's grading Commander and Josh gets hated because he hates Commander?
No, like Josh.
Not only
decides.
that, but
He's
I
a
am
good-
for sale. I'm forced. Like, who wants?
No,
to,
okay, then never mind. We'll let the
sale.
comment section. Comment section decides one.
I win. This
completely
is easy.
unbiased.
Yeah.
No, dang it.
Yeah, I'm in it. I'm in. Deal.
Why does my comment section love you so much more than me?
Because this is not your comment section. This is my podcast. I just let you idiots on some weeks.
What's your hot and cold take, Josh? Oh, well, here, let me tell you.
I didn't realize we were done with my hot take. Go ahead. What's your hot take, Josh?
No, go ahead, man. I took the sunglasses off. Keep burning.
No, I just think that whole thing where like they're doing the same thing. They're splitting two sets up in spring. They should just do one set. It didn't work this time year. It's not going to work next year.
I can see that.
Year. It's going to work this year.
I'm kind of upset because I was going to say whatever March of the Machine, the Aftermath was going to be the flop of the year. Like that just seems like everything else seems, I say unique, but they're all returns anyway, but that just seems like a flop. But my hot take, my big takeaway is I'm always right. Dominaria United is going to destroy the year. It is set of the year. Don't give me your Brothers War crap. Get all of it out of here.
Listen.
Dominaria United is the best
right,
set ever. It's the best set ever.
Damn it.
Dominaria United is going to be really hard to beat.
It's
Brothers War is going
best.
to have to be so damn good.
Brothers of War is going to get wracked by Dominaria.
And then I
was watching the stream, I was like, it's got everything. It's got the pain lands. It's got the box topper.
Have we already moved on from the year of the 30, whatever it is?
No, I'm agreeing with
No,
I'm agreeing with Josh's take. Like, it's just got everything.
It's got everything. What in there doesn't it have? And also my other takeaway, the Warhammer 40K special foiling that came out.
Have we seen
Not
it?
as impressed as I thought it was. Yeah, I tagged you on Twitter. You know,
really?
I don't do Twitter. I gotta look at it though.
I literally tagged you on Twitter.
All right.
I would have tagged George, but he doesn't know what Twitter is.
Who posted it? Like, was it Wizards or was it like
This is great content.
I don't remember, but the foiling does come off, and I don't know if it's a take on like the stained glass where the foiling is broken up a little bit, but in the card example that was shown on Twitter, not that impressive. Here's another cold take for me. I like etched foiling better in Magic. I like the etched foiling better.
You also didn't do anything on Twitter for me, so you're 100% lying. All right, I pulled it up now. We got it. Josh finally added me. He lied when he said he had done it earlier, but it's okay. We won't hold him to it. We won't document it. It's there. It's there. George's fingers are looking at it too. I don't know. I don't think it looks that bad, dude.
It's not. It's just not everything it's cracked up to be. You know what it reminds me of?
It's not impressive.
It's not that great. The old Dragon Ball Z card game had foiling like this.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, I know.
So,
thank you.
I'm going to do a video in the next couple of weeks that's talking about how Magic's turning into Pokemon, and like they just do all these crazy different things and no consistency at all.
Take us fire.
Like they're doing, like they have no consistency. There's nothing that's like true Magic brand, and I miss that. Like I like
the true Magic brand is the TCG that the majority of people who know what a TCG is plays. That's the Magic brand at this point. That's the brand.
Like I just think that I like the old.
This is amazing.
Foils. That's what I like. I don't like the whole new shiny.
That's
era.
The brand.
I know it's right. I'm wrong. I've said this before. This is good for Magic. They are going to sell more because of this.
100%.
Like the old. This is why I spent $2,800 on a Pauper Elves deck with the original.
That's
foils.
A bad example. Hey, Pauper's affordable. Stacks.
But I think this looks good though. Like I think you're wrong about it. I think it's cool. Like the entire deck is foiled in this, the collector's version.
Mark my words, there will be complaints about this
expensive.
Deck.
It is still
there will be complaints. If this is the foiling treatment, there will be complaints about this deck.
1,000%. I agree with you on that.
What do you mean there will be complaints? Like what do you mean by that?
People are going to look at this and be like, how is this $500 for the decks?
Yeah.
And then you look at an etched foil where they're pushing the boundaries or trying something different. This is not trying impressive. Stained glass.
That
anything.
I agree with.
I think this looks pretty good. I think this is going to look better. Hot take?
I think it would look great in the $150 deck. This is not super great in the $500 deck.
Hot take, it's just the video is bad. I think in person, these are going to look really cool. That's just my take. It's just my take. All right. Do you guys want to go through the roadmap? What do you guys want to do? How do you want to break this down?
Dude, I'd love to go through the roadmap. Break it down for me, son.
Map it. Let's hit a road trip. How would we not call it road tripping through Magic's 30th?
We
Oh,
man. All right, I'm going to
Oh, my God, George, that's so good.
No. All right.
That's so good.
We're going to talk about Dominaria after this bit. So let's start with Brothers War, and then we'll run our way through it. So Brothers War, we all know is going to be the best set of the year because I said it, and that means that it's going to happen.
We're going to get wrecked.
We'll talk about Dominaria in a second. We'll talk about Dominaria in a second. But Brothers War, what came out that we liked by that? I sent some stuff in our chat. I didn't. You know what I did send? Liliana in Dominaria United. God, I'm so wrong. This set's gonna bomb. Brothers War is gonna suck.
It's not
Brothers of War is gonna be a terrible set. Calling it right now.
It's not going to bomb, but I think there's an opportunity here to maybe throw back to some of the artifact-based stuff with the brothers and things. But they explicitly said in the announcement that there's going to be powerful cards referencing these brothers and more than just glasses, right? So they explicitly said we're going to go away from some of these older cards. I thought it was a chance to throw back to a lot of those old cards, and they said explicitly we're going to go away from that. So it's going to have its own flavor. It's going to really stand alone, which means it's high risk, right? Like that could be great, but it also could flop because it doesn't have the backbone.
Listen,
I agree. I mean, like, let me be very clear. Like, I support them taking the risk. They can take the risk, right? That's the benefit of being the dominant game is that like you can have flops in a row and it not matter. Like, you know, like that's what I missed. Like AFR didn't matter. Omnath didn't matter. It made people very, very cranky for 2 weeks. Then they're like, oh yeah, I forgot that made me cranky. Yeah. That is the benefit of having 30 years of players. Is that like people just like no short-term memory?
Yeah,
sure.
And every time somebody leaves, somebody comes back in.
Yeah, it's enormous. And they think about that, and they think long and hard about like, how do I onboard new players?
When I look at this year, what I see is set after set that's going to bring people who walked away from Magic back into Magic.
That was exactly my thought. Was like this. Welcome home would have been another great title.
Like Brothers War, like gonna bring in all the old lore heads. Phyrexia gonna bring in
all Magic Historian.
Phyrexia gonna bring in all the Phyrexian stuff, even the marches that are gonna be terrible. Gonna bring in all of the people who played the game in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, and had kids and fell away. And Throne of Eldraine being another set that was 3 years ago, whatever. The rotation for Magic is 3 years. Yeah. The rotation to quit and come back to Magic. Remember this, George, from the from the article, the Altafox article said that there's a 3-year rotation for Magic the Gathering. You go in for 3 years, you get out, you come in after 3 years. So and then Ixalan, I called that on this podcast. I said we're going back to dinosaurs.
I think you did.
I did. And so that's really cool. And the Lost Caverns going to be cool.
I was surprised we were going back to Ixalan, I'll be honest.
Didn't surprise me. I have inside sources. Mark Rosewater.
Mark Rosewater.
Mark Rosewater. He'll be on the podcast next
You get him on the podcast? All right. Put in the comment section below if you'd rather have Mark Rosewater or Post Malone as our guest next week.
Listen, my favorite part, I'm going to ruin our opportunity of having Post Malone on the podcast. My favorite part of the Magic the Gathering video is how much they just use Post Malone.
He seems like such an awesome, nice guy. Don't do this. I'd like to meet him.
No, I would too.
Seems great.
I just love that. They love that Post Malone plays Magic so much. It's
the Steve Buscemi meme with the skateboard, and he's like, "Hello, fellow kids. We also like Post Malone."
Mark Rosewater's favorite thing about Magic the Gathering is that Post Malone likes Magic the Gathering. I love it.
Post, I hope you're listening to this. Notice I have said nothing because I still support you and want you on the podcast.
I love Post Malone.
I don't really know who you are, if I'm being completely honest.
You have no clue. I know who Post Malone is because I'm not.
I don't want you on, but I think you seem all right. But if you're offensive, I don't want you on.
I asked. He said it was okay that we brought this up. So
yeah,
I think we're okay. Cool.
Him and Logan Paul were all for it. He's an artist, a musical artist. Helping. He's a musical artist.
Yes.
We'll send you some of his music. You'll love it.
You will.
That true?
Yeah, you like that stuff.
Yes.
What's stuff?
I don't know. You're hip.
What's stuff? You like that stuff. What's stuff?
Guys, we are going through the roadmap and we've gotten halfway through the Brothers War and we're on Post Malone.
All right,
he's the one that has all the tattoos, right?
Yes.
Post Malone is one of the brothers that will be at war.
Oh man, can you imagine? When's the Post Malone secret layer? There's going to be a Post Malone secret layer. That's got to be coming out.
I'm all in on the Post Malone secret layer.
It's all Magic the Gathering images, but all the faces have face tattoos on them. Wizards, hire me. I'm printing you money right now. This is great. All right, Phyrexia. This was the one that I didn't see coming, and that got me the most excited for this roadmap. I love Phyrexians, and I love the lore behind it. I love the cards, Elish Norn. Everything about it is fun and interesting, and it brings a side of Magic that I think is, you don't feel all the time with all the sets. You don't feel like there's really an enemy. Like werewolves, they're not enemies.
Sure.
Who the heck cares about werewolves? But Phyrexians are scary. It brings you into the world, and I love that.
We just did a whole episode about how much Magic IP doesn't matter, and now we're stuck to all we're talking about is Magic IP. Do you think maybe either we missed or we're stuck on something?
You said that. Nobody else other than you said that. It was just a bad take.
I don't think that's true. Notice the lack of Star Wars. We're
look what I got. Look what I got in today. My Star Wars The Gathering.
Anyway, so I didn't see new Phyrexian coming either, which kind of made it super hype in my opinion. And Phyrexia, that's going to be a dark horse candidate for set of the year because they can do so much from a gameplay standpoint there. You think back to something like Phyrexian Mana, right? How much did that change how people play the game? Being able to pay life instead of resources, instead of mana. Stuff like that is insane. So that's a dark horse candidate 100% for set of the year.
The collector boxes for that set are going to be banana pants. There's going to be a bunch of Phyrexian language cards, and they're going to be $1 bajillion.
I think they found a couple pallets of antiquities boxes, and they're going to put them in the new Phyrexian.
Hot take. Wait, I don't want to speculate on that. But like, hot take.
It's interesting to know that the Phyrexian thing is like all throughout. Like we were texting Josh in the middle of this, and like we don't pay attention to the lore enough that we didn't really pick up that Phyrexians have been invading.
Just did 10 minutes on lore.
Have been invading in each set, and like these are the things that I think if you were to like take Magic the Gathering and just make it all white cards with text, you'd be like, this sucks, like this isn't fun. But like you don't notice how much you're ingrained in like the things that are happening until you like think about, well, what if it was gone? And there are people again who love the lore, but like even the people who just like the pictures and the images and like the iconic artwork really matters. And then I just pulled up the Ajani Phyrexian and Ajani, which I know is in your favorite set, Dominaria United, but it's just cool that it's kind of going through the whole setup. So
all right, let's have this. Let's get the Dominaria United. That's all we care about.
All right, that's what the people are here for.
That's all they're here for. I don't blame you.
All right, Liliana.
Who, by the way, is a bad person. In case you did not know. Holy smokes.
What didn't it have?
This, like, the full art Liliana, amazing.
The art in the whole set,
it's gonna be this. Like, this is gonna be an unbelievably good set. This is gonna be a stunningly good set.
The question for everyone last week was like, is Dominaria gonna have the power level? If Liliana of the Veil is in the set, it has to have the power level.
Ooh.
No? You think Liliana's underpowered now?
Ooh, I have a hot take on that.
What, Liliana's underpowered? I've seen this article. This thread. I saw this thread on Twitter.
Oh, I tweeted
you weren't on Twitter.
I think he's a liar. I think that this is going to be a one or maybe two of in some of the Pioneer decks that it's not already in. And that's about it. Maybe a one or two of. I don't think we're going to see a smash 4 of these in a deck go to town anymore. The synergy's not there. I think power creep has taken over. I mean, we're already seeing an exodus of Liliana from Modern. I don't think there's so many better things I'd rather do on turn 3 in the decks that are playing black cards, black mana at this time. The difference is if there's other things that synergize well with discard, then I think she might find a place, and maybe in standard. I don't know, man.
Like standard's not going to sell anything.
I think I'd rather in Rakdos midrange right now. I'd rather Fable the Mirrorbreaker on turn 3. I think it's going to be kind of sitting on the sideline.
Josh, I completely agree with you.
Listen, don't patronize me. This is why you brought me here, because I know this. You don't know what anything.
So I think
I don't want you on my side. Get off my side.
All right, Louis, I agree with you then. Louis, will you have me on your side?
No, I don't want you on my side. When you're on my side, I know I'm about to get in trouble. Like, I think Liliana, obviously, I do think there's been a lot of power creep, but it's still one of, if not, name a more iconic card. First off, I hate the artwork.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hate the new artwork on the left, the regular artwork.
Yes, 100%.
I hate it.
I do not understand that artwork at all.
I think it's the weirdest looking thing ever. It looks like a picture.
I thought it was cool.
Like,
no, you're
hats
wrong.
off to Martina.
This I actually have an opinion on. You're wrong.
Hats off to Martina, who can draw good enough that it looks like a picture to me, but it looks like they just like took a picture of a person in a purple
You're talking
dress.
about the non-full art one, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The full art one looks sweet.
The full art one looks amazing. The non-full art one
sweet.
looks like Ruby drew it in her sleep last night. Ruby is my dog.
So Josh sent me Josh sent me a tweet about it like an hour before the stream, and I was like, oh, that looks fake. Like that looks like a fake card. And then it came out. I was like,
Hey, God, I did the exact same thing. Somebody sent it to me, and I was like, why are you sending me a fan art Liliana? Like, what the hell?
By the way, the source was Jim freaking Davis. It was
and I
Jim
said,
Davis,
what did I
and
say
you're
when
like,
he said that?
you're like, who's Jim Davis? I go, Magic content creator, by the way. Like,
I thought he was
guys,
I thought the guy who made the Muppets.
I don't want
actually.
content.
Wait, isn't there a Jim Davis that makes the Muppets?
That's why he said that, I think.
Is it?
Is
I
it the
want to
same guy?
I want to
Is he
clarify
like
my
the
last
Muppets?
statement.
Is he like the Muppet content
He's the
creator?
Muppet master.
No. This. I will not have you down talking gameplay content creators. That is close to my soul. Okay, come on.
All right. Anyway, I don't like the artwork for late, but
3-mana Planeswalker always good though. Like you do make a point. Like 3-mana Planeswalker just generally good.
like, what's the low price for a Liliana? Do you think? Like, Commander players are gonna love it. Like, I think this card gets down to like maybe $40. How much do you think?
The standard regular one?
What did you just say?
Like 16 to 20 is what I was going to say for the standard regular one.
Oh no, I don't think it goes that low. It's a $60 card.
Yeah, but there's going to be 40 treatments. There's going to be this one. There's going to be the regular foil. There's going to be the borderless. There's going to be the borderless foil. Then there's going to be the etched showcasey baller foil.
Oh my god!
I don't think
I'm
that
gonna buy
matters.
one of those, and I know it. I know I'm gonna buy one of those.
Wow.
I don't.
I
think this card is iconic enough that I'm not sure that it ever sees. So this
You
is
might
the
be right.
low. The low for ever market price has been $45, and that was
I think this could hit $40, but I think that's the floor for it.
since
My God.
2015.
all right.
Listen,
I'll stand on my own side of the line. 16 to $20.
There's a lot of listen. I think this is gonna be a crazy set. There's a lot of value in these boxes.
It's still played in a lot of modern decks.
I think it's gonna be I don't even care about that. Like, listen, people want to own the card.
According to MGG stocks, let me cite my sources for you all.
Like-
not that I play modern, but that's
Like, I think you guys are missing it. Like, that doesn't matter. Like, people will want
You might
this
be onto
card.
something here. Yeah.
People will want to collect this card. They will want every version of the card. They will want multiples of every version of this card.
it's iconic.
People will want this card.
This
100%.
card, Liliana of the Veil, is a card that sells sets.
Here's the thing.
Yes.
Here's how you know. It's a card that when it was released, I immediately recognized.
Yes.
And you don't play Magic.
No, I don't play anything anymore. Like it's a card that they released, and I was like, oh, this set's gonna sell stupid. I immediately called my distro and up my order. immediately. And that's what Magic gets. Like, you gotta have one of these banger cards in every set that's like, oh my god, I gotta crack boxes to get this card because nobody's gonna want to sell it.
Yeah.
Nobody who opens up my store is gonna want to sell it.
Not that this will sell boxes, but I think there's also a really cool segment of the Legends cards that they did. So they like basically took some of the Legends and they made them into new commanders. And I think this is really cool. And I like when this Soul Canar, the Tainted that I shared with you guys, when it came, I was like, oh, that's gonna be my new commander. And it's like a group hug. It's not gonna be like a tier 1. Like, it's like a group hug commander that's just fun to build around. And
yes.
I think that kind of stuff, it's not gonna sell boxes. It's not gonna bring it's not going to bring people to like this is going to be a 50 cent a dollar card, but it is something that brings people into the world of Dominaria United. It is something that brings people excited for the set release, excited to build a commander deck and whatever with it. And so I think that's another really good thing that they got going.
I think these collector boxes are going to be stupid.
Yeah,
you're now going to have full art special Lilianas. You're going to have legends. You're going to have like these
Tabernacles.
Every card's a tabernacle.
Painlands. The Painlands getting a reprint in this.
Like Painlands are definitely food for boomers like me. Like, I remember I literally had that feeling of when I used to play Painlands. Like, they're not going to see as much play anymore. There's a couple new ones coming into Pioneer, but I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying that's right. It's a reason for me. I'm gonna want the Painlands from this set because it makes me think of that. I'm not a collect. I play games more than I collect the cards. I'm going to collect a play set of Lilianas I don't play. I'm going to collect the Painlands because I want them. You're totally right.
Yeah. That Shivan Reef artwork is my favorite of those Painlands. That thing's beautiful.
Shivan cool.
Yeah.
This is going to be a really silly set for Magic. It's my gut.
Would you say set of the year?
What else would it be?
Josh loves that. He loves it. He loves that he was right. So, Josh, you're such a great asset to this podcast.
I also want to point out to Fairy Time Raveler 3-mana Planeswalker currently seeing play in Modern, $13.
Wow, that's great.
Insanely powerful Planeswalker. I think Lily, I'm sticking to it, $16 to $20 for the regular Liliana.
Don't give up on me.
Liliana and Teferi are two very different lines. Like, that's
why I gave her $6.
All right.
I gave her $6.
I gave her $3. She's at 13.
Let's go back to talking about Liliana. Okay, let's do this.
Sorry.
What is the least valuable Liliana?
Oh, there's been some real
some
real stinkers.
That was a bad. This one's Liliana of the Veil. This is the most powerful Liliana of the best version.
Let's move on, but let's track this. I'll bet you.
Oh, you want to bet?
I'll bet you a collector box
of what?
Whoever's closer.
God, I'm gonna be out of collector boxes.
I also love how Louis gets them at cost and you don't, at distro cost and you don't. This is like an extra bad loss for you.
Yeah, this is like when I do when people at my store love to do box battles with me, and like they buy half the box and I buy half. The box.
I'm gonna buy it from Louis at cost.
It's great for me because it's like I didn't lose that much money. You know what I mean? Like I get it at cost. So
I'm so right.
All right, let's do. What's your threshold? Whoever's closer, mine was 45. Yours is 16.
Yeah.
Whoever's closer, a month after release.
Sure.
Okay.
No, it's got to be more than a month. I think. I don't think prices settle out after a month.
Oh yes, they do. That's when prices. Okay. That's the best time to buy is 1 month.
All right, market man.
Right.
That's fine. I'm not scared. Do it.
That's when I buy my singles 3 weeks after release.
Let's do it.
All right, 1 month after release. I'm gonna be out of all the collector boxes. What collector box?
Whichever one I want. Dominator United, of course.
Dominator, like what is wrong with you?
The best one.
And we have to open it on the stream so that we can see if we get a Legends card out of that. Tabernacle.
That box is guaranteed a Tabernacle.
Yeah. All right. What else are we talking about? Anything else with the stream?
I think it's going to be. Well, we've moved out from that topic to Dominaria, so that's good.
That's what I'm at.
Yeah, great. Great content. This is like I just think these collector boxes are going to be silly. Like I think they're going to be super silly.
Yeah.
Can I ask you?
I want to talk about one thing before then I'll get to that. Then you can ask. I mean, like I will say that I got way more collectors than I expected from this set.
Yeah.
From my allocation. Now, what I don't know is that just like because I'm super awesome, or is that because there's one print run, or because they just printed a lot of them?
Your rep
I don't know that.
You.
Huh?
Your rep does love you.
Yeah, all my reps love me.
But if everyone's cracking them chasing Tabernacle, does it matter?
No one's doing that. You are the only bozo doing that.
I'm not doing that.
Everyone else is like, oh God, I'm going to get a 10-cent Legends card.
No.
It's going to feel so
that is the worst take.
So good to open.
I know.
So let me.
I think there could be 2 print runs. Go ahead still. Yeah, go ahead, Josh.
I was going to say, just to push back a little bit on my own take and ask you, do you think that Magic did everything in one set? And to use a phrase Louis doesn't understand, did Magic jump the shark? Did they go too far?
No, I don't think so. Because I think this is a really good. I think what you're saying is right. This is a really great collector set. It might not be the best player set. And I do think, I think it's a good player set. I just think it's like a stupidly good collector set.
It's no Throne of Eldraine.
Right.
We don't know that yet. We know one card, and it's Liliana the Veil.
And we know the other one too.
Oh, we know some other cards. I know, but we know, we don't know the full set.
We know like a dozen cards.
Yeah, we know a bunch of cards.
I know.
But what of them are commander cards?
Don't you do Magic content now?
My point is that we don't know most of the set, so it's too hard to say that now.
Yeah, I'm sure the common's going to save it. That's a great call.
Liliana is a super powerful card that's in this set.
Yeah, it's going to shake up standard. It's going to shake up standard.
From my resident play expert, it is not super powerful anymore. That is why we have Josh here.
It's not.
It's not powerful compared to other cards that have been printed, but as a vacuum,
but it is powerful compared to other cards that have not been printed.
It's still a powerful card, though. It's not like it's an underpowered card. It's just not being played in the most powerful formats.
Yeah, but there's plenty of tier 2 strategies, and that's the cool thing about Magic. Magic is wide enough that tier 2 strategies, people playing tier 2 decks, is a large community. So people could find a home for this card in some second level strategy or second level decks. My point was, I just don't think it's going to be a bomb. I don't think it's going to be like, oh my god, Pioneer has changed forever. Oh my god, Standard rotates around this card. Like I don't think it's that card.
It being played in Pioneer is probably the driving factor of if it is valuable.
It will be in deck lists. It will not be a 4 of like it was before. It will be a 1 to 2 of, or maybe in some boards somewhere.
Cool. I'm hyped.
Josh,
here's how, again, the test for Magic sets for me is like, am I hyped? Because I don't know a lot about Magic, and I am hyped AF about this set.
Yeah.
Me too.
Josh also pointed out in our conversation there was 19,000 people watching live on the reveal. That's it. I thought that was a pretty impressive number.
That was an
enormous number for a reveal of
numbers. On one platform. Remember, it was streamed on YouTube and on Twitch. That was just the YouTube number.
That was just YouTube. Yeah.
I have no idea what the Twitch number was.
That's a big number of people. I was shocked. I was like,
that's insane.
I was like, that's
hilarious.
There's a lot of people.
Since all 19,000 of those people are watching this podcast, remember to like, comment, share, subscribe.
That's very well said and very succinct, Josh. Thank you very much.
Hate you both so much. All right, moving on. We're moving on. No digital reveals in the entire thing. This is something we wanted to chat about. They did not highlight Arena at all.
They did for
they did. You're right.
For Alchemy.
I think they
mentioned Alchemy once as like a side mention, and that stung for me.
And then the comment section was like, everybody hates Alchemy. Nobody likes Alchemy. It's so funny. The comment section was roasting it.
Listen, Alchemy's a cool concept, but people who fell in love with Magic the Gathering fall in love with the cards. And the notion that the cards that you own, the things that you possess, change and mutate and are taken away and given back, that's not a comfortable feeling for us. We didn't come up with Magic as a digital platform. Hearthstone and stuff like that works. That doesn't work here. However, playing Magic digitally is huge. And to see them not mention anything about digital Magic was kind of a weird pivot, it felt like. Remember a couple of years ago, they were all in on the digital platform. And this year they're like, maybe paper Magic.
Yeah. Well, they're doing their 30-year thing to get back. Like the whole start of this was, hey, we can get back in person.
Sure.
I wonder if they're a little bit like in the pandemic, did they see the maximum number of Arena users they potentially
100%.
could have? And they were like, wait, that's not that many. And then we're like, oh, maybe we need more in-person play and we need to highlight that.
I think that's probably true. I think if I were to guess, my guess would be like their takeaways like digital is really hard. Like creating an online economy for TCG is very, very challenging.
Well, when you're greedy, it is.
That one.
No, I don't think I don't think that's fair. Like I think like it takes a lot of programming power to allow you to trade, to sell. You have to have an in-game economy. Yeah,
RuneScape hasn't been doing it for since 2007.
Now wait a minute.
I mean, they added the Grand Exchange and it solved a lot of stuff, and like it works really well.
But
and
there's like how much like there's still not all the cards for MagicCon, even Magic Arena. They're still missing a lot of cards, tons of cards.
But I don't think that's because of programming power.
What do you think it's because?
Hot take, baby.
That's not because of programming power. If anything is holding it back from programming power, it's not the number of cards, it's the number of mechanics.
Right. That's my point.
For those of you who don't know, Josh is also our resident computer programmer because that's his real job.
I have a real job because I have to, because I'm not successful like these two.
Or unemployed like both of us.
So
I am definitely not unemployed this week. Come back to me on Monday and we'll see how it goes.
George's back hurts. I worked very hard sitting at a desk all day. But it's
I am like hunched over because if I sit up, my neck kills me.
I'm a programmer. That's my natural position. That's what. But it's the mechanics, right? And it's figuring out that. But realistically, if they wanted to have those mechanics in there, they would. Now, are they holding back because of what Louis said? Are they afraid that pushing people towards that digital platform is going to drive people away from paper? Or are they worried that when they push people towards that digital platform and they experience an economy that is so horrible? I make arena gameplay videos. I have tons of the decks. I spend way too much money on that platform to give my viewers unique decks. If that was my experience into Magic, where I wanted to play this deck and I had to spend this much money to be able to play 3 or 4 different decks, I would be turned off from Magic the Gathering. It would make me run in the other direction. So my theory is it's not the programming power. It is what George said in the first part. It's the economy. If they don't have the economy right, if it's not nailed, if that's still this big point of contention, they don't want to give people that bad taste in their mouth.
But
I think Hearthstone killed the economy because Hearthstone showed people just how greedy these games can be and get away with it.
But
so now people are like, I want some of that action.
But don't you think that they would be working on fixing the economy? They don't seem to be trying to solve an economy issue. I think
we assume the economy is broken on their end, but it might just be broken on our end.
Meaning what?
The consumer thinks it's broken. Wizards is laughing to the bank.
So I argue that they have taken a step into fixing the economy in both fashions. So they've made it so Wizards can continue laughing to the bank, because if you play Arena and you play Standard or you play Alchemy, you will be buying packs for the longest time. But they are making an effort to move a legacy format like Pioneer into Arena. And if that happens, it gives players who have a set amount. I don't want to spend money on this forever. I can get a deck and it's good forever and I can slowly build towards another one. It gives them a sandbox to play in too. So George, I think they're making steps to fixing the economy from both ends by not changing the economy at all, but by including legacy formats.
That could be. I could buy that.
Is it almost like they feel like there's a threshold of spend for a user, and they're like, we don't want to push above that threshold because the amount of money it takes to put into getting above that threshold doesn't maximize. So like if Josh is going to spend $300 a month on Arena, by adding all this other stuff, he's not going to spend more than that.
Do you spend more than $300 a month on Arena?
No.
No,
but I can. I could if I wanted to play every deck at Explorer. I could, but Louis, I think there's a certain
you play
amount.
video games way different than I did.
Well, I'm doing it. I'm doing it
$300 a month on Fortnite. I bet. But I play
Fortnite. That is
stop it.
Did
you really?
Not $300 a month, but probably.
What did you buy?
Wow. Dude, I bought skins a lot.
Is
why did you buy all the skins?
This out live with us right now?
I have an issue with video games where I calculate the amount of time that I spend playing, and I'm like, I'm like $2 an hour right now for entertainment. Like that's
do you have any idea how many tries at a claw machine you can have a month?
Movies. I had a claw machine. Why would I want to waste my money on some Carney's?
What do you mean? Oh my God,
ripoff, you know?
So many tries at a claw machine for that.
Are you offended, George? My goal was to offend you, so I'm glad.
You shot pretty straight for the head on that. There wasn't a whole lot of veiled subtlety.
I'm sure the comment section is already written making fun of me for spending $300 a month on Fortnite. I highly doubt I ever spent $300 a month on Fortnite, but there was certainly a month that I spent $300.
You just love lying to your audience this week. No, you're like, I'm not on Twitter. Oh, I saw this on thread on Twitter. I spent $300 a month on Fortnite. I didn't really spend $300 a month on Fortnite. Can you just keep it straight for a minute?
I'm sure there was a month where I spent $300 on Fortnite.
But I think you're onto something, that there's only so much spend in the community. I really do. But the question is, right, what are you getting for that spend? And if you get a physical product you become attached to, we've talked about this before, collectibles you're attached to. If you get a digital asset that you can only use for a short amount of time, you're not going to look back on that $100 fondly.
Right.
You're going to be upset that you spent it, right? And that's where legacy formats come into play. Maybe that's a hot take, but that's what I can see them planning behind the scenes. If I was in there and I had a whiteboard and I was like, how do I make both of these happen? That would be my go.
Still super interesting that they didn't really talk about Arena at all.
No, and it made me very sad because I
all
October, baby.
I feel like they saw the apex of Arena and were like, that's kind of it.
You just wait till Hometown TCG Arena content takes off. You haven't seen the apex for Arena yet, buddy boy. Oh, I'm bringing in viewers and players. Woo!
Love it. Yes,
Go,
George.
Nothing.
Okay. All right, let's
Sorry, I
move
didn't mean
on.
to offend you.
George is just sad that someone's pumping their own stuff instead of his stuff. All right, let's talk about Genesis gaining traction. George, when's your Genesis event? Do you know yet?
September.
I asked you this earlier today. You didn't know earlier today.
Hold on, I'm looking it up right now.
We did
While
learn
he's looking up, yeah, I got reached out by Genesis since I was on the podcast. I got a bunch of cool information. Shout out Genesis.
I thought you
wanna
were
share
saying
your
you were get some
information?
free stuff, and I was going to light my computer on fire. I have gotten
Oh my
nothing for
gosh.
free from any game except for Legions. Shout out to
No.
Legions.
I got info. They're
That's
just helping
fine.
me
That's fine with
learn.
me. Good luck.
Oh.
That's great. I'm in.
I'll
All
run
you
everything
hear-
I get
this is
by you.
Like George is so salty that he doesn't get free stuff.
I'll run
Makes me
everything
so
I get
salty.
by you. My
It
bad.
makes me so salty.
He's so
I'm so
It
sorry.
makes me so salty.
Gosh, you're so entitled. We did a learn to play event.
You get
Super
all
good.
this free stuff for free, then you say that.
I make content. You
I
show
make
up.
better content.
You show up once a week and ramble. Like that's like I make content.
You ramble really well, though. It's
Yeah,
really
you are-
enticing.
You are good.
I
at
miss
rambling.
watching this on Friday morning because I'm in this now.
We told you
do
you can
both, that
still
we get the
watch it.
clicks.
Yeah. When
It
you-
is September 17th.
September 17th, everyone. If you're looking to play Genesis, go to Compete Sport. In
And
West-
I
West
will
Virginia.
say right now, we have a few special treats.
Ooh.
Are these Scoopy Scoopies? Be careful.
Ooh.
I have a couple Scoopies.
Be careful.
Obviously, Assad's going to chip in the $5,000 for the circuit event. That's great.
Cool.
I will be chipping in thousands of dollars of prizes,
Cool.
Jeez.
even though I've got no free product. I will be providing pizza for everybody, free lunch, free dinner, free stuff. We'll have free drinks.
You're
Not
making me
alcoholic.
wait. So I can come and win thousands of dollars at your Genesis event. I've got
Not like-
I've got a
You
tier
have
one
to be
veteran now.
good, so no, you can't. But like
I've been
others could.
practicing.
You called my store manager nonstop while he was on the clock to relearn how to play Genesis.
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago.
yeah,
and
bingo.
Now I'm a pro. I have a
Are you ready for the Scoopy of Scoopies?
yes.
We will have a special guest at my Genesis event.
Yeah.
Ollie
Is it
is
Post
making a guest
Malone?
appearance.
Is it Post
My
Malone?
dog Ollie. Ollie's making a guest appearance, and he will sign the George card with Ollie on it.
Wow, that's so cool.
Ollie's going to be there. That's
Is
amazing.
there actually going to be a little paw print on the card? Because if so, I think I might.
No,
I'm in.
Ollie is. So I have two dogs. Ollie is by
like-
far the
Nobody
least
needs to
well-behaved.
watch the baby. I'll be there. Dog print.
It's like September 9th.
I'm just joking. Just a baby joke.
So I don't know if you how you know babies have like a due date.
So Ollie will be there. It'll be hype.
Nice.
I can't. Dude, are you gonna have any coverage?
Yes, Jordan, the better content creator in my favorite podcast I'm on, is going to be coming down. And can I help you, Louis?
No.
And great. And he will
Not at
be live casting the games with yours truly.
Oh,
That
cool.
sounds so.
This
That
is
is
great.
sweet.
I don't
That's
have
really
to
cool.
go now. I thought I was going to need to be the one.
You weren't invited. Like we have
That's
to come
fine.
down
I
now.
guess not.
I thought
gonna
I
come
was the
down.
special guest. I thought I was
I
finding
was-
out with everyone else.
I was going to come down and have some fun, but now I won't. So great. Jordan
Be
can
very
win
clear
it.
here. Even if you told me you were coming down, I would not believe you.
This
Let me be
explains-
crystal clear here.
This explains why when I asked when his event was, he kind of pretended he didn't know what the date was.
I gotta show
no,
up and buy him lunch. I
listen,
blow up his
we
phone
did
this week. I hope.
We did a learn to play event, and there's two guys that really loved it. Both of them. Can I finish telling my
Yeah,
story
go ahead.
before you publicly interrupt me again? Both guys like bought a couple boxes, opened it up, and they came back 2 days later, and they were just playing in the store. And when I got there, and they're like, "Dude, this game is so much fun! Like so much fun." So it was really cool to see them excited about. Yes, George. You're just waving your mic around. You don't have anything else to say? Okay.
I moved mine. I didn't know if I was supposed to say anything or not.
Louis the Bully.
Oh,
Genesis is still is popping off at the store. We didn't get our Origins restock in time, but we obviously had some J2 left. So we did some J2 events and people loving it.
have you guys played draft or sealed?
Yeah, we played sealed last week.
Okay.
A lot of packs. It's the only downside.
How many packs?
6.
Oh, that's not
For
that
sealed or draft?
I I think it's for draft.
You just said
Azaz, from the comment section below if I'm wrong.
So 6 sounds like sealed. I got to ask, what's the limited play experience like from? Because I know you would have heard from your players.
My players loved it. Let me be very. Okay. My store is weird. We only do draft and sealed.
Yeah, the owner there.
My store loves draft and sealed. Loves it.
Okay.
So like part of it's just like if a game is not good in those formats, I can't carry your game.
Right.
So I got to tell you, I would be all in on playing Genesis because of that. Because I don't have the space right now to fully invest in top tier competitive decks in another game. I can't go 3 for 3. But if there's an awesome like limited play for where I could go down to your store and draft on Fridays or draft on Thursdays, that's so important in my opinion.
I'm learning to play next week, and we should play on TTS.
Okay. Oh, there's a TTS mod too.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
it's really good.
That's awesome.
I have to download Table
the gameplay is really good on TTS too. The gameplay is really good on TTS too because of the movement.
Okay.
Like all the players say the same thing. It's well designed, well balanced, very elegant gameplay. We've said this now for years. It's by far the most polished of the new TCGs.
Yeah, the gameplay is for sure. I think that the aesthetics of it, I wouldn't say are the most polished.
I think that is where they fall short.
But I rather have people excited to play the game. That's where we talked about this long-term growth over like the short-term hype. And Josh, I think like competitive decks, like I just built mine. You have 1 or 2 cards that are a little bit difficult to get, but if you can find the people, they're like $10 for the highest. The super,
that's not bad.
The highest version of not the highest version. Sorry, the most expensive card in the deck.
I see what you're saying.
But I think that's a problem. Like if I were to highlight one issue, it'd be I think they do need to try to figure out how to get some more collectability in these boxes.
That's starting to happen though with the beta boxes and the beta cards and so I needed Death's Companions for my deck. I needed 10 of them because there's not a card limit for the number of cards that you can have in your deck. It's all based on chi, which is the value each card has. It's like Warhammer. When you build a Warhammer deck, you can have any
which is a great game. Everybody loves Warhammer. Continue, Louis.
I don't know if you're being sarcastic.
That was a really random Warhammer.
I love Warhammer and you hate Warhammer, and I want you to know I've never respected you less than when you said that.
I don't hate Warhammer. I hate playing Warhammer.
I like
$400
Warhammer Commander decks.
I freaking love Warhammer.
Have you actually played Warhammer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's how you know I was one of the cool kids in college. I played it all the time in college.
I think I maybe had a really bad experience with Warhammer.
I would play in the back. I was in a frat. I played in the basement of my frat house every Friday and Saturday.
Wow, that's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
Why? We got drank some Mad Dog and played some Warhammer.
Mad Dog 2020.
The melon one is by far the worst thing you'll ever taste. If you're watching this episode and you're over 21, and you're like, I'm gonna go get some Mad Dog. First of all, don't. Second of all, if you do, go get melon. Don't get melon.
Okay. So
what's your favorite flavor of Mad Dog?
Death's Companion. In the beta version is like a $45-$50 card. It's hard to get. But in the they have the promos, and then I don't think it was reprint. I think it's just the organized play promos. And so they're easier to get in that way. So that is starting to happen, the collectability. And honestly, when it does happen, I know a couple people who are collecting the foils, and the foils are really expensive because there's 1 per box, right? When that happens with the regular cards, I think it's going to be a hard thing to figure out because the game's got to be able to grow. And if you need 10 Death's Companions to be in your deck and they are $40 each, now your deck is $400 for 10 cards like that.
All right, everybody, if you've designed a TCG, say this with me: alternate art.
Well, they did that.
Alternate art. That is the key to everything. It's the magical land that apparently only Magic the Gathering can figure out. For some reason, I'll never understand.
Shout out Darth Vader.
Alternate arts solve this problem.
Yeah.
Every game should have alternate arts. Every game.
You should be able to maintain collectability while not affecting gameplay, and alternate art's just a great way to do that.
That's a gimme.
Yeah.
Like I don't
It's
understand.
a layup.
I
So
think other games do that.
I won some arcade award a couple years ago, and somebody asked me. I had to give a speech, and they were like, "So, like, I was the youngest one to win it," and they were
What was
like,
the
"So
award?"
George, like, I don't who the hell knows, some bullshit," and they were like, "So George, like, how'd you do it?" I was like, "It was very easy.
How'd you do it?
I copied everybody else's arcade and called the ideas my own," and they were like, "Oh, ho, ho." I'm like, "No, I'm serious."
That's how I
You
got to
walk around-
college.
Yeah, absolutely. You walk around.
You guys
and you're
got
like,
through
"Oh,
college?
that's a great idea. I could copy it. Oh, that's a great idea. I could copy it. Oh, that's a great idea. I could copy it."
Yeah.
These new TCGs need to do that.
Creativity is just
Yeah.
forgetting who you stole it from.
Yeah. like copy the games that are working.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And which is why Magic the Gathering is copying Pokemon with all their flashy foils.
Oh my God.
All right, let's move on.
Well, hold on. Before you move on, I want to get your guys' opinion on something. So I've introduced a couple game stores around me to some indie TCGs, and I've gotten the feedback that when they open the box, they get the product, the cards, they don't feel quite right and they don't pop.
Are
And they have
Are they opening Origins or J2?
not this game. I'm saying just in general, I've gotten that feedback from introducing other games. And you said the art and the style of these cards could be an issue. Do you think that's going to be a problem with Genesis growing? Do you think people are going to have that reaction?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, listen, like, here is the sad, I don't like this. This does not spark a lot of joy in George, but like, this is the cold, hard truth. Nothing matters less in the current indie TCG market than how your game plays.
Yep.
Sure.
What matters is fake hype and collectability.
Yep.
That's how you're going to get eyeballs.
This is
And
fair.
and Genesis has this weird curse of doing everything important right that the market doesn't currently care about. Now, I think the market will turn, and I think the market might be turning to where, like, I do think people are like, "Hey, wait, like, should I say the name? I'll say it." Like, you look at Nostalgics right now, not popping, because, like, listen, who wants this thing?
Right.
And like, they have beautiful art.
Sure.
But it's like, what do you do with it?
Yeah, and I wasn't being critical. I was just curious of that
I get
perspective.
it. So I mean, like, I think what drives me a little bit crazy with Genesis is that they do the hard stuff better than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
and then they missed
but,
the
like,
layups.
Dude, make it alt art. Make something rare.
Yeah.
Make something that you're like, "Oh, I'm going to crack boxes for this card."
Yeah. So somebody pulled an epic, and they do have, like, you have rares and then you have epics, and the epics are just rares in a full art. And somebody pulled an epic and they're like, "Wait, what's special about this?" And it wasn't different enough.
That's
them.
okay.
And
yeah,
like, that's
so
definitely a thing.
Okay.
And I think, like, it's a weird balance because a lot of their promos, they do have some different art, and they have different ways. Yeah, they have a Patreon, and if you're a patron and you have your stuff shipped to your LGS, you get a special LGS Patreon thing, which is really cool, and that's a different alt art. So they are doing those things, and there is collectability in there. I think Genesis's challenge is, how do you move to that next level? And I think that the challenge for the other games that do get that right is, how do you build to the scaled level of distribution and being able to do increased print runs and being able to get to a lot of different stores. Because once the collectability goes away, you need a reason for your box to sell. You need a reason for somebody to want to open the box. And that reason is gameplay and, building new decks. And I think that's what Genesis has. So if they can get through this hurdle, I think it's going to be really good.
Okay.
And I want to add this. No game comes close to doing for the LGS what Genesis does.
What do you mean by that?
They give, if you're a patron, they ship your cards to your store, not to your house. That you have to go to your store to pick it up. And while you're here, buy some sleeves, buy another box of Genesis. You're going to buy something. You're not going to come in there, grab your promos, and run away. Mm-hmm. You're going to buy something.
I'm cheap.
They give you store promos if you were part of the Kickstarter. They give you these great OP kits.
Yep.
They do
OP
a lot
kits
for
are
the
cool.
LGS.
Yeah.
And I'll go on the record. No game does more, not just says more. They all say the same nonsense. No game does more for the LGS.
No game is as intentional. I agree with that.
No,
and at the small LGS level, the interaction with small LGS.
That's the thing. Is that I never have a problem getting OP kits.
Yeah,
but I know other stores that do.
Yeah.
Well, and especially smaller.
Like Assad takes that very seriously.
That could be I agree with you. It could also be a scaling thing, though. For some of the other games, they scaled there. This is why I love Genesis's model of growth, because they are scaling they are scaling their team and they are scaling their game together.
I agree.
And when you have 3,000 stores, that's going to be more difficult. But the idea is, if you're scaling slowly and long term, you're learning the lessons. And Assad said this in our interview. He said, "I wasn't ready to scale up, but now I've learned the lessons to start scaling up." And that's something I think is really big.
Assad's a great CEO. Very intentional, very sharp. Assad's a great CEO.
All right, let's move on. It's been an hour. Let's keep it going and moving. One set a year, though. This is talking about Genesis and then Sorcery.
The rumors that Genesis is going to more than one set a year soon. Then maybe even this year. They're going to start doing some other stuff instead of just one set a year.
Okay.
I think that's super important for them.
I think it's super important for all the games. And I want to talk quickly about Sorcery. Sorcery is starting to get a lot of interest in a lot of people, picking up the TTS stuff, a lot of the sample cards that came out in Red Zone Rogues. He did a box opening, and then Team Covenant's been opening up boxes. A lot of those cards are starting to find their way to the market, and you're starting to see a lot of interest in the sample cards, that kind of thing. A lot of hype around this set is coming out soon, a couple months. And I think that the one set a year thing is a big negative to any TCG, because you see the hype cycles, and if you can't lean into that hype cycle, I think it produces an issue.
One set a year is not survivable for games.
No.
Yep.
No store can carry it. And it's impossible for content creators to work around it. And people ask me, how come you didn't talk about, how come you guys talk about Genesis a lot, then you don't, then you do? Well, something's happening.
Yeah.
What do you want me to talk about on month 11 of the Genesis set?
Yeah.
What insight do you want me to have?
Right.
I've been talking about it for 11 months.
You just hit the nail on the head on a huge problem with content creators. Now, remember, content creators are free advertisers for these games because they love them. They're free publicity. They're free community builders. And when you don't keep that machine fed, that machine slows down, dies, and finds something else. And they take a portion of their following when they do that.
Yep.
That happens.
And that's especially true when Magic is releasing a set every 3 days.
Yes.
And this is why you don't see content creators for a lot of these other games that are daily videos putting out content. I ran into this problem, putting out content every day for games that there's not anything to talk about. This is why you start talking about other stuff. This is why Magic content creators tend to not talk about anything other than Magic, because they don't have to. There's no reason for them to go to other stuff. And for a new player, there's also a new Magic set every week. There's a new
there is Magic news every day. There's Magic sets every 3 days. There's always something going on. And I don't think new games can or should go to that extreme. But doing one set a year is let's say, not even say month 11. Let's say month 6.
Yeah.
What do you want us to talk about?
Yep.
There's balance, and even from most of these indie games are targeting people like me. We're familiar with TCGs. We play other TCGs, and they don't want you to quit your TCG to play Sorcery or Genesis or Cryptic or whatever. They want you to also play Cryptic for now. And if they grow over the long term, then maybe they'll target people only playing their game, whatever it is. But they're targeting people like me. And if they can only keep me interested for 1 month out of the year, how likely do you think I am to not get enamored by other TCGs doing other things with my life and then remember to come back on that next set release? You're gonna have a revolving door of players and not players that are sticking around for the long run.
So, and nothing is worse if you're a new game than revolving doors of players, because you're going to be losing a ton every time.
Now,
which is
people
hard.
have tried your game and they don't like it. Yeah.
Which is hard because Magic, being the TCG model and what everybody strives to be, has a revolving door, a massive revolving door. Like, people come and go out of Magic like crazy.
But listen, that's great because there's 20 trillion people who play Magic.
Yeah, but they built their model for it. They expect you to go and they expect you to come back.
So I think my point is, if these games want to do something like once a year, they need to do a different model across the board. This is where I lean into, and I said this about Sorcery, I said this about Genesis. I think that I've said this about Cryptic. One of these games needs to become the Kickstarter TCG. What they do every set and every year.
Cryptic's a good one for that.
I agree.
Cryptic's a good one.
They don't do. I don't like. I think the no distribution model, no going to PhD or Southern or whatever. You say, I'm going to be on Kickstarter, and in 6 months we're going to have another set that's going to be Kickstarter, and in a year we're going to have another set that's going to be Kickstarter. And if it's one set a year, then what you can do is you can put out decks on your website, right? Like you maybe you don't have the time to design and create a new set every year, but you have the time to design and create a new product that's a deck set or a dual deck or whatever that adds some new cards and some new flavor that you can then sell to your Kickstarter patrons on your website. But your hype cycle is based around one set a year on like a Kickstarter thing, and then you don't have to scale yourself to be able to work with distribution, and you are just creating for that different thing. I mean, like, if I was creating a TCG, that would be my model.
Kitchen Table TCG coming soon.
Thought it was gonna be called
Patent pending.
Yeah, called Ollie and Me. I like that a lot.
No, it's the hype cycle is so important, because you're never, when you first exist, it can't be in your mind that I'm going to compete with the juggernauts, because you won't. You'll get smushed. You have to share attention with them. You do. You have to share attention with the Magics and the Pokemons, right? That's just what you have to do. And if you release one set a year, there's no way you're holding my attention. There's not a chance.
But Josh, what if the game's around in 30 years?
So I agree. I think one set a year, not enough. I think you got to I think 3 sets a year is a minimum. I do. I think 3 sets a year is great. I even think quarterly, once every 3 months, would be that's
fantastic.
Something good to aim for. I think, but it's a minimum.
Yeah, I think it's hard to do. I also want to show these companies some love that, hey, I'm making a lot of comments about what I think they should do and what players want. The logistics and actually doing it's another thing, man. And shout out to people actually doing it. That's hard. I'm not saying it's not hard, but I'm saying if you want to succeed, you got to do things that are hard. It's got to be more than one set a year.
And this is why I think Magic shouldn't be the goal. Like this is why I think the goal should be something. It's a passion project. It's I'm not going to be a quadbillionaire. I'm not going to create the next major TCG. I think it needs to be a different business model for you that is okay, George. Yep.
Don't listen to Louis. Go nuts, boys and girls. Be all. I'm taking down Magic in 6 months. Mark Rosewater is going to work for me by the end of the year. Let's roll, suckers. Dream big.
Now he's never coming on the podcast.
What? Okay, I'm sorry, Mark. Can you please tell Post Malone to come on still?
We'll take Logan Paul instead. If you want to sub it out. That's fine with me.
You can tap out.
You maybe unintentionally, you threw back to a great comment that you made last week. How did Magic the Gathering start? It was something to do in between. Right?
Yeah, in between D&D sessions.
So Magic the Gathering didn't start to take over the world. You don't have to start to take over the world. You could just take over the world eventually.
That's my favorite Magic the Gathering thing, is like it was created to just be something that you could do while you're waiting for your DM to set up your D&D game.
Oh, I thought it was going to be D&D 3 released today, and I was coming with vinegar for George. I thought D&D 3, whatever. No, for Magic. D&D 3.
Oh, the set
for Magic. I thought it was set number 3 for Magic, and I was. Oh, dude, I was ready.
We didn't even talk about Middle Earth.
I was hyped. Well, that's because there's something to talk about. It's Elf.
I know some people who are really excited for that. Like really,
Are you?
We didn't even talk about Doctor Who. I was not excited about that. But
we also didn't talk about. We heard nothing about Star Wars.
We're also in the indie TCG section of the podcast.
That's fine.
Just to work.
Question: Is Doctor Who owned by Disney?
I think so.
That was the
Disney own everything?
When I saw Doctor Who, I was like, "Oh man, they're owned by Disney. Oh man, Star Wars is coming." That's all I thought about. All right,
do you want me to get less popular? I don't like Doctor Who.
I don't like
Commander. I don't like Doctor Who.
All right, Cryptic though has comics. As we move into the Cryptic,
they have good looking comics.
They have a pretty sweet looking comic. Unless George is messing with us.
Where did this come from?
Tanner.
Did he just send it to you? Are we allowed to share?
I hope I'm allowed to share that.
Because I'm sharing.
Hold on, everybody.
It's up there. It's up.
You don't want to blur this.
No,
it could be nudity. It might be it's blurred. Edit. Louis knows.
It looks really good,
dude. This looks really this is really nice. Shout out to Tanner if this is real and George isn't pulling our leg. This looks really nice.
It's not. He's not pulling your leg. It's like the name of.
No, I drew that and gave Tanner the credit. I hope that's okay with all of you. I did that in my spare time today, in between setting up the arcades.
It looks.
While you were laying down, healing your back.
Yeah, I was laying down in agony. I was here. Give me the crayons.
Right. Can I give you a hot take?
Yeah,
it's not a hot take, but Tanner works faster than any other game designer on the market.
I'm allowed to share this.
It's up there now. Like you're in trouble. I'm in trouble.
Nailed it. Thank you, Tanner. Go
next week. Next week. Banned from Cryptic.
The title is banned.
Next week, Facebook gets banned from Cryptic. I told Assad if he bans my store, I'm just closing.
All right. So this looks super cool, and like this is the type of stuff like Cryptic. I feel like he's got the contacts that he's just getting crap done like crazy.
So here's my all right. Let me go over. I have a lot to say about Cryptic this week. This looks amazing.
Yeah.
I don't care how fast he's working. I care how hard he's working.
Bingo.
And this looks like a real comic book. Like if this were on a shelf, you would be like, "Oh dang, that looks amazing."
Yeah.
This is a like I've said it before, Tanner is dangerous.
I'm all in. He's all dangerous. In on Cryptic, dude.
This is really, really impressive to me. He sent me this. I was like, "Oh my god, that's amazing." This is he is I don't care about lore. I'm not a lore guy. He loves lore. This makes me like lore more. This makes me like lore more because I'm like, okay, I can follow along. I can look at the pretty pictures. I don't have to read. I can't read, so this makes it easy for me. And I can follow along what's going on. I think this is amazing. It looks great. I'm all in. I'm all in.
Yep. It's really sweet. I'm just super impressed at how he's able to accomplish things on timelines. Like that says a ton about a CEO. And we've talked about this on this podcast a million times. If you are investing or starting to play these games, the most important interaction is the CEO. The gameplay is important. The artwork is important, but how the CEO works and treats people and interacts is the most important part. And Tanner gets.
I will say, and this is the benefit of Tanner is a legit nice guy. He is a legit good dude. He saved lives. What have you done with your life, losers? He walked in and saved a cat from a burning building.
Yeah,
I'm assuming. Tanner, put in the comment section if that's true or not.
Wow. You did. I mean, I reached out to you a little bit about this week, and you told me some Tanner stories. I was a big fan. And from the outside looking in, as someone who doesn't know much about, I'm not a big ivory tower guy like you guys. I haven't had conversations with CEOs. I just sit here and talk to you bozos. And if I looked at this,
oh man, Tanner's definitely gonna message you and have a conversation with you after that.
He's too nice of a guy.
For free, Tanner.
Oh my gosh, George, you need your free bit.
Tanner, just send me a pen. Send me a Cryptic pen. Just send me.
There's nothing worse than rich people asking for free stuff.
So as I was saying,
That's fair.
if I were going to create something as more than a card game, as an IP, this would be a step in that direction. This is that good. And when you shared it with me, my brother is very into graphic novels and comics and stuff like that. And it's just very good. It seems like and I don't know anything about the company or the person, but it seems like this is a step into the IP space and a really good one.
Yep.
What I took away from this is like, this dude is serious about his IP.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about, like this dude is serious about his
like
IP.
he's protecting it. He's caring for it. Like he's nurturing this thing.
Yes. Nurturing is the perfect word, actually.
You know how everyone feels about Liliana? Every time I see in the Facebook group one of the Rosa cards, which is like she looks like a hippie zombie, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want that card. Like, I love it. Like, that is my, like.
Is that your waifu?
No.
Do we finally have waifu culture on this podcast?
Never. God, get it out of here. I don't want to edit. I don't want to talk about this stupid crap. This is my biggest, anyway. But that's like my Liliana. I
like how you almost got him, Josh. I just want to make sure you know that. You were right there.
You did not. What do you mean?
You almost went on your waifu tirade.
You were close. You walked up to the edge.
I'm not doing it again. Anyway, so he's building. Like, I already the game's not out yet. I've opened some test packs. The game's not out yet, and I care. George, shut up! Oh my god,
Tanner, I haven't opened any test packs yet.
I had not opened any test pack yet.
I care about the characters already. Like, that's important. Like, that's so important.
All right. God, I want to highlight one fear for Cryptic that we talked about last week.
Okay.
Here is my number one fear by a mile for Cryptic. For all these games, frankly. The prices today for these games are unsustainable. Like, this has been Rudy's big discussion the last couple of months. I agree with him. Tanner's amazing. Tanner's a great CEO. I think Cryptic will be great. I'm all in. These prices make no sense. What I'm very worried about is that the storyline is going to be he's releasing boxes while the price of the original products are tanking. And, oh, look, nobody wants it anymore. And I want to caution all of you that, like, I think, go ahead, Dr. Louis.
Are the prices of the original products tanking?
They're going down.
Okay.
But that's good, because the prices before made no freaking sense. And I think that's the right way to view it, is like, these cards are, like, all these games are returning to the values that they should have always had.
Yeah.
Building in 30 years of appreciation for a game that's been around for 30 days makes no sense. Makes no sense. Like, I will bet my left leg not all of these games will be around in 10 years.
No. In
let alone in 30 years.
Yeah.
I will bet you most of them won't be around in 10 years.
Right.
I don't know which ones will be. I have hunches.
But if it is.
So, like, at the end of the day, like, saying, like, oh, the Lotus is worth $10 trillion, and there's half as many of this, so they should be worth 3 times a Lotus.
Yeah.
What?
I think, like, if you...
I just want to encourage everybody, think about, like, if you're going to play Cryptic, if you're going to play Genesis, if you're going to play MetaZoo, if you're going to play any of these games, play it because you enjoy it, collect it because you enjoy collecting it.
Yeah.
I think that has been my big takeaway for the last year.
Yeah, I agree. So I think, like, I was thinking about this today. Oh my gosh, if Cryptic's around in 30 years, like, the value of the cards will go up. Okay. And I was like, oh my gosh, if Magic the Gathering is around in 30 more years, the card values will go up. And, like, I think, like, the idea of investing in new TCGs because the value is going to go up is silly. I think you should invest in a new TCG or buy a card. If you are bidding on something on eBay or whatever, you should bid because you want to own that card forever, not because you think it's going to be worth 10 times the amount of money in 5 years or 10 years or 30 years. And if everyone does that, If everyone is bidding, they're not. But if everybody is doing that when they're bidding and the value hits $400 for a card or $30 for a card or $600 for that is the actual value of a card.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
Candidly, this is my biggest fear with sorcery. Is like these prices this past week were stunning.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
banana pants, if you will.
Yeah, they're banana pants. Like you can get a 25-year-old Magic card for way less than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The question is print runs, though. The question is the supply of a 25-year-old Magic card.
That is a question. The other question is market size.
Right. No, I agree. I'm not downplaying it. I'm just saying
there's 50. Look, how many people have played a game of sorcery?
I agree.
200, 300.
But the test cards, there's like X number of them, and for Magic cards, there's X times 1,000. There's there's a ton more, and that is why the values go up because there's not more coming. I'm not saying that that's right. I'm not saying the cards should be worth that much. I'm saying that is the other side of your argument.
I agree, part of pricing in that value.
Exactly.
That's part of pricing in 30 years of success because when you say there's only 4 sorcery card, there's also only 200 sorcery players. So when you look at that ratio, you're pricing in the fact, well, there's only 4 sorcery cards, but if you put that in a player pool of 500,000, now those sorcery cards are worth that. But if that player pool stays, if that interest pool, it's not even called players, keep it to interest, right? Stays at 200, the value of that card never goes up, regardless of how many there were or how long it was. Yeah, so that's part of pricing in 30 years of success is talking about, oh, there's only N number of them. Yeah, there's only N number of them, but there has to be X number of players or interest.
I agree. 100% agree.
And 2 other things is that, like, I guess I'll say 2 other things about this. Like, there's way less Hyborian Gate boxes still sealed than there are Double Masters collector boosters.
There's a lot of Hyborian Gates boxes. I own 20 Hyborian Gates boxes. I actually gave them away. I actually gave them away and threw some away in the trash like a week ago.
Like just because something's rare doesn't make it valuable. The other thing I would add is like there are games that are very old and very successful. Yeah. That aren't worth a lot of money. And that's okay. Like Force of Will. All of these games would love to be Force of Will.
This is the biggest argument. This is the best argument. This is the best argument.
That's fair.
Like
that's fair.
Like if any of these games were a fraction of the size of Force of Will, they'd be thrilled.
Yeah.
But they're not. How are their cards so much more money?
Somebody came into my shop the other day with some Force of Will cards. Like, do you buy these? I was like, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
He goes, what am I supposed to do with them? I was like, I don't know, man. But please don't cry.
You want to trade for Hyborian Gates? I got some Hyborian Gates boxes in the back. We could do an exchange.
There's this guy, Rudy from Alpha Investments. You could hit him up.
Big fan of the show. What up, Rudy?
Is Rudy buying Force of Will cards?
I just said he is, so why not?
Yeah, like even like Weiss. Like Weiss is very collectible.
And people who play it love it. People who play
and like
Weiss,
early Weiss cards aren't worth a ton still. Like I just
is that true?
Like they're worth a lot, but not like a lot.
Yeah. Because I know there's some expensive Weiss cards, like in the new set.
Well, that's because they like. I'll say that we should do an episode on Weiss. I love their cases.
They're small.
The way they do their cases are amazing. You get a certain set of like super duper rares, but then once per case you get a super duper mega ultra rare, and that one is signed by super duper mega ultra awesome people.
If that's not the actual name of that, then in my Ollie and me, we're definitely naming them super duper.
Nailed it. And like that super duper mega Ultraman card is like amazingly expensive. Yeah. Like they have great cases, not so great boxes, great cases.
Are we ready to keep going?
Yeah, let's roll, baby.
All right, last topic is having the numbers on MetaZoo and MetaZoo on the big screen by the kind of the end of the year, next year or something like that.
Big shout out to Mike. It is never fun to say you're cutting print runs. Nobody ever says, I hope I make half as much on my next set as I did my previous set.
Yeah.
But he did it. He bit the bullet. 100,000 was too many. 50,000 is a good number. I think this is a wonderful decision by Mike. I think this was the exact right decision by Mike. we've said this on this podcast now for a while now that 100,000 is just too many.
Yeah.
And like he listened. Like there's two parts of this announcement, both made me happy. First, there's gonna be less boxes. That means that like they'll be more collectible. That's good. MetaZoo's a collectible game.
And hold on, before the comment section gets angry about anything, it's the same print run as Nightfall. Go look on TCG Player for Nightfall singles and tell me a card that you can't afford in order to play the game.
Right.
Every card is affordable to play the game. This is not preventing anybody from getting into playing the game. There is
MetaZoo has unbelievably smart packs because the playable they do something called alt arts. Like the playable cards, the cheapest version is very inexpensive, while the rarest version is very expensive in some cases.
There's not a lot of very expensive cards from Nightfall or CN2 or Wilderness or UFO. So I'm not sure that's like a super fair point. Like there's not like a non-foil version of Prismor, right?
Well, no,
like
that's my
happens
point,
to be the most expensive card.
That's true. The Prismor is the problem.
Listen, and the promos are another thing that they get a lot of slack for.
But there's not promos in the boxes, and we're talking about the boxes. If you want to discuss other topics, we can. But right now we're talking about the boxes.
But put them on the screen in writing.
I agree that I think Nightfall is the perfect box. I think the EV on it's pretty good in terms of like when you're opening a box to get your money back, and I think that's the perfect print run number. And now if you mix some of the things that he has learned, like I think there are some really good things about you. I actually like the Prismor. I'm disagreeing with you about the Prismor because I think that the Prismor is fine at $50 to $60. I think fetch lands are fine at $35 to $40 for Magic. I think that's fine.
I'm $35 to $40 fine. That's great. I'll go back to what I was saying earlier. I think this is a reducing print was great, and it also the bigger thing is Mike was listening to the community.
Yeah,
and Mike deserves a ton of credit for this. He listened to the community and changed courses, even though it cost him a heck of a lot of money. I don't know how much money Mike makes per box, but multiply by 50,000, and that's a big number.
Yeah.
And he was like, I will forego that because I think the community has spoken. He deserves a ton of credit for this, in my opinion.
Let me open-faced compliment sandwich, because compliment sandwich is normally like compliment, criticism, compliment. I only got one of each, so it's open-faced.
Beautiful. Love it.
Don't roll your eyes at me. I have good takes. I have always wanted from everybody, any game that I've played, no matter what it is, I've wanted transparency and the ability to say, we went in this direction. This direction did not work out. We see the need to pivot. We're pivoting. We made this decision. We don't like this decision. We have to change this decision. I like that. Yep. That to me, being able to say, especially as a newer TCG and indie TCG, to be able to say, hey, we're in this with you and we want the best for the product and our community. And being able to say, this helps our product and our community, no matter what we think it does to us as a business, we need this. And being able to make that statement is awesome. I think that deserves high praise because you don't see that across the board.
Right.
You don't always see that. But as someone who is on the fringe of the MetaZoo community, I own MetaZoo product. I talk MetaZoo with you guys. I got a couple of friends that I will talk MetaZoo with from time to time. There are also articles and screenshots and posts coming out of other things, and I don't want to see that. I think MetaZoo needs to distance itself from some of that, what can be like small community drama, small community news, and it needs to distance itself and says, hey, we're the company, we're the head of this ship. We are leading this community. We don't interact with most of the stuff that goes on here. I also don't want to see the CEO responding to like every player. So I think that can be cool.
No, boo this man.
That's my opinion.
Boo this man.
You can boo me all you want. I want to see a separation.
No, absolutely not. I want the CEO of these games to be interacting with the community and engaging with the community and taking flack from the community. Like if I were to criticize one thing about it, it's like sometimes I think they can be a little soft. Like you run a multi-million-dollar company, take the criticism.
Right.
But like, I love, like,
That's
listen,
fine.
Tanner does the same thing. Assad does the same thing. If you want to run a game company with thousands of people playing your game, collecting your game, loving your game, I think you have an obligation to interact with your community. Mark Rosewater does it. Which one of these bozos is bigger than Mark Rosewater?
Hold on. I think you're both. I'm gonna play Switzerland here. I think you're both too
Get
far.
out, Kami.
You're both. You're both too far. You are like Josh. I think you don't. I don't think you value the interaction enough. And I think George, you value it too much. I think I would like to see Mike step away from Discord, because I personally think Mike has better things to do than manage the community. I want to see him step in for the MetaZoo hour. And that's when Mike is there answering everything. But Mike doesn't need the stress of dealing with every single. He should be working on the big screen, which is what we're going to be talking about in a second. He should be doing the things that are bigger than the community level on Discord. But I highly value the time that Mike spends in the Discord. I would value it more if it was a more pointed time in the Discord where it was less of the back and forth.
So you brought up Mark Rosewater, but I think, Louis, you have a good point, and I'm willing to be wrong on that. That's totally. I think interacting with the community in a scheduled, controlled environment can be valuable. I think that's fine. I don't want to see you interact with the community at all hours of the day whenever, when somebody ats you and someone says something you don't like or anything. And this is not a MetaZoo specific statement. This is a game leading CEO specific statement. I don't want to see that kind of interaction. When you schedule times to interact with your community, I think that is great. And I blocked that out. I kind of said no to that, and I was wrong for that. That could be really valuable. But it's the random one-off responding to criticism on various platforms things like that.
I think that's fair, and we've critiqued them for their bannings before. Ironically, we've critiqued that before. Please don't ban me, Mike. I can only take so much. I think that's fair. But I listen. I think these CEOs have nothing more important to do than grow their communities. And I think
agree.
people, hold on, boo-boo. And I think the number one way to grow their community is to interact with it. And I will admit, Mike is probably on the fringe of that size where it gets weird. MetaZoo is on the fringe of that size where it's Mike's no longer a Mike's no longer a designer. He now has to be a real CEO.
Bingo.
He has to be a real CEO now.
Yeah.
Probably Mike more than any of the other new TCGs has to be a real CEO. That's the curse of the 20,000 verticals, is that you have to manage 20,000 verticals.
Yep. And in my opinion, MetaZoo's better be bigger than Genesis and Cryptic and really any of the new TCGs. That's where they need to be right now. And I think that's the question. I'm not Mike. I think that's the question Mike needs to be asking himself, is when am I big enough that I have to trust my team? I have to trust the people who I am. Hold on. I have to trust my team. The biggest important part of any business owner, any CEO, is to be able to paint your vision in a way that other people can help carry it forward.
It's about trusting your employees and trusting them to do a great job, right, Louis?
Yes. It's about helping.
That's a sign of a good executive. Continue, Louis.
And so if you can't trust your employees to run the Discord server in the way that you want it run and to be able to manage, then I think that's. I think that you need to be able to step away from things. And I said this on the first interview I ever. This is something I've said since day one with Mike. The first interview I ever said with Mike is, Mike, if you want to do all these things, are you going to be able to hire and employ the right people to help you along your journey? And that was the main thing I was concerned about, because Mike has bigger goals than any of these CCGs.
100%.
Mike
has bigger goals than Magic.
Yeah, he's got take over the world vibes.
Yeah, he wants to be, and if you're gonna do that, they didn't build Pokemon with one guy.
No,
Like they didn't build Pokemon with one guy in a Discord server.
He now has Mr. Kitty on the board, in fairness.
Yeah, like they need that. And so, yeah. But the other thing he said, oh, sorry, I want to say one other thing about the print run numbers. Mike's also super good at, like, we all said that he like admitted his mistakes in the print run. He's like really good at like communicating without admitting anything. Like the announcement wasn't, hey, we printed too many boxes. He did a really good job of communicating it, like, hey, we're going to print as many boxes as Nightfall, and we feel like that's really good for the community. And that's the type of stuff that I think, as a communicator, to be able to say, we've got this, we understand, we are working on the solutions to things, without being like, hey, we suck and we made a huge mistake. That is a really important CEO and really important communication strategy to be able to do. And I think that the way he announced it deserves a lot of credit for that. So.
Boom. And he crushed that announcement. And I want to double down on the fact that you guys pointed out that MetaZoo. I think that forum is fantastic. The fact that he's one of the few people that do that. I've literally been in there and asked questions and gotten responses. And I'm a nobody in that community. Like, it's awesome that happens. It's an incredible forum, and
you're now a guest on the #1 podcast. You're now a somebody. Just so you know, buddy. Continue.
That deserves credit. That's amazing. I wasn't talking. I wouldn't criticize that.
All right. He also said, hey, Mike here. I won't be attending Long Beach, blah, blah, blah. But we will be announcing an animation partner, and we are very excited about, with the intention to release a few shorts by the end of this year and release spoilers as early as Seance, which is in like months. MetaZoo has its story, and now we have the partners to bring it to the big screen. So I'm going to assume a lot of things here. Big screen is movie.
Please don't speculate.
I'm speculating. That's fine. I'm speculating.
Cite your sources.
Like I'm not.
Cite your sources.
Like big screen says movie to me, not just TV show.
Yeah.
Listen, I have said this for a long time. The movie and TV show is the #1 growing factor for MetaZoo.
That's it. Like, listen.
Yeah.
They can't miss on this. They can't miss this.
Nothing, no date and no announcement from Mike has ever been so important to stick to and to follow through on than this one.
We disagree on that.
No, listen.
I don't think the timeline matters at all. If they don't release it till Q2 of next year, nobody's going to care.
You guys are consistent on that, at least.
No, now that it's announced, in my opinion.
No, stop.
Now that he has put dates to it, it is so important to follow through on.
Absolutely not.
He kind of did that thing where you put dates to it. You're like, Q2 of next year, where it's like, I could push it back. He's just at the end of the year. Like, it could middle of October. He could push.
He
it
did
back.
say the intention to release.
Yeah.
If he produces an amazing short and it releases in August of next year, I'm not gonna be like, wow, Mike, that was amazing. Too bad you're 6 months late, loser. Like, I'm gonna be like super hyped. Like, nothing in MetaZoo's universe matters more than the TV show or movie. Like, nothing.
Yes. This has to have the hype build up.
If those are good, we're off to the races, baby. If those are duds, Mike, you have a big problem. But I trust you. They're gonna be good. This is where it gets real for Mike, I suspect. Like, this is that make or break moment for everything he's done for the last 4 years. So this is the moment. I think you are right for ingrained fans of MetaZoo that the timeline doesn't matter. For people who are on the fence, for somebody who is a fan, you didn't read that announcement. That's not true, dude. There's so many people in that Discord server. What casual fan is there being like, oh, I wonder what Mike tweeted today? Like, but A, it's not Twitter, it's a Discord message, and B, MetaZoo, they're all things I don't understand. MetaZoo they're all tweets. MetaZoo is built around the Discord server. We talked about this with the website. We talked about this with the social media. MetaZoo is built around that Discord server. If you like, I'm telling you right now, I have conversations with people who are huge MetaZoo fans, and I have conversations with people who hate MetaZoo, and I have conversations with people who are on the fence every single day, multiple people. All right. So I just want to make sure I understand your argument here. The people who are on the fence every single day, and the short is amazing. The short is amazing, but it releases in March of next year. They're going to be like, sorry, Mike, you're 3 months late. I'm out.
I might not see the short because I might leave the Discord community, and if I leave the Discord community after what I think as someone who is on that fringe, I'm not on the fence of whether I like it or not. I'm just on the fringe when it comes to MetaZoo news. If I choose to stop consuming MetaZoo news, I won't know about it if it weren't for you guys.
So,
well, first of all, everybody should know about it because they should all be subscribing to this podcast, which you can do on Spotify, Apple Play, Android Music, and Twitter.
Now, as a counterpoint, I think they should also like and share.
Twitter.
What do you think?
No, we're not on Twitter. Android Music doesn't exist, and it's Apple Music, not Apple Play. Holy moly, you're a boomer. Okay, so I think
his back hurts. Leave him alone.
I believe firmly with all these new TCGs that if you are, we talk about a revolving door. I think with new TCGs, it's not a revolving door; it's a front door and a back door. And we, I've talked about this with other games in the past. I think once you go out the back door of one of these TCGs, I don't think you come back in. I think Magic revolving door 100%. Pokemon, I mean, like, anyway. These new TCGs, I think, are a front door, back door experience, and I think that's why it's so important to keep people in. So I think that's fair, George. I think it doesn't have to be everything he promised by the end of the year, but I do think I want to see some pictures, some images, some
that I agree with.
Some graphics by the end of this year. There needs to be something to keep people just keep that carrot, just keep dangling.
That I agree with. They gotta show something. They gotta show something, but like if they're like at the end of the year, I don't go. I don't know what movies come out at the end of the year. I don't really watch that many movies. The Impractical Joker's second movie without Joe, which isn't really that great. If that comes out in theaters and like the MetaZoo short isn't in the beginning, I'm not gonna riot.
No.
Can I say though, from as one of those fringe community members, for knowing what I know about the community, about the company. If you were to be like, hey, gun to my head, you got to put all your money in on MetaZoo on something, this is it. I think they're going to crush this. If you were to say pick something in MetaZoo that they're going to knock out of the park, this would be what they're going to knock out of. They're going to kill it. I think this is going to be fantastic.
Listen, if this doesn't kill it,
I could kill it.
Everyone on this podcast is in the same boat. If this doesn't kill it, it kills it.
I really don't think it can miss. Like it
can miss.
It can absolutely. Like, let me be clear. I don't think it will miss. It can absolutely miss.
It can.
Knowing what I know about Mike, I don't think. Sure, yes, it can. I don't think he will let it.
No,
that I think is true. Like, listen, this is where Mike proves his chops.
Yeah,
this is the moment. Like, this is the moment where like Mike will be like, "I am here. I belong at the adult table." Like, yes. I should be in contention for one of the top 4 TCGs.
So we have seen a lot of partnerships in MetaZoo, and some of those partnerships have been fantastic. Some of them have gone really well. Some of them have not gone very well. And when the ones that don't go very well happen, a lot of the time it's like, hey, yeah, this partner dropped the ball. It happened, right? This is one of those things where if this partnership doesn't hit a home run, Tops. It's a great example. I love that you just I
was like, what is he doing? I'm so interested.
Tops is a great example. Like the conversation around Tops was like, it's Tops' fault. Like, if this movie sucks, it doesn't matter.
It can't be Warner
blame WME. You can't blame WME. It doesn't matter.
It's Mike's job to make sure that this is amazing.
And I think, Mike, here's where I agree with Josh. Mike knows this.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Mike absolutely knows if 100%. This fails, he's in a dark spot.
Yeah.
Right. Especially because, like, listen, you do have these other games doing plush, doing comics, doing things that MetaZoo was doing. Like, they have created a very weird path for new TCGs.
Yep.
Yes.
That's actually interesting. I think they did. Wow. Good for you, Mike.
If I was going to put my MetaZoo bags on something, it would be this. I'd bet my bags on this.
Yeah. pops. All right, this has been an hour and 45-minute podcast. That's too long, so we should stop it now. But don't forget that you can like and subscribe, and you can
Go to Android Play, and you're there.
People don't get that joke. It's gonna be funny. Thank you guys so much for watching. It means a lot to us. Thank you for being involved. Those of you who are still here an hour and 45 minutes, you have our hearts, and we love you. And
mainly you, Magic Historian. I know you're still listening. We got to get you back on.
so you can roast Josh.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
I mean, like,
Friday.
it's only one left to be roasted.
You're off that week. I can't handle you and him. I'm sorry, buddy. He's
Josh
fall
is
in
never
love
off.
with you.
Josh is never off. Josh is 100% in on.
Yeah,
this
wait.
podcast.
What did I do to you, man? Jeez.
I
We
can't
might do
handle
an
it.
episode where you're not here, and we
That's
titled
great.
the episode "May the Zoo Be With You," the reaction phase 2.0.
I hope all 12 viewers love it.
May the reaction phase be with you.
The 12 viewers are going to love it.
We
That's
gotta
great.
stop. We gotta stop. All right, everyone. May the zoo be with you,
And also with you.
and be kind to the people.
Oh my God.
Around
Every week.
On April Fool's Day, you're gonna say be mean to the people around you.
No, he's going to mess it up like he does every week.
Thank you.